Today's video is a bit of a weird one, but it's got to be made. I'm sure some of you have been playing State of Decay 2 before, just going about your normal, everyday playthrough, and you've said to yourself, damn, this game is really good. Let's have someone else beat it for me. And so naturally, you call up your best community members, or maybe some good Samaritans living nearby, and you beg them, please kill the play cards for me. And everything goes well, until they take on their first play card and get absolutely mauled. And so naturally, you try again, and the same thing happens. And so naturally, you give up. I'm sure a lot of us have tried this run, I certainly have, and it's very difficult. But what I'm going to talk about today is an in-game feature or mechanic that is so broken I reckon you could beat the Pacifist run with no hands, no eyes. Hell, a giraffe could beat this challenge so long as you use this mechanic.
This is too good.
But what is this strange feature that I'm on about? How is it so good? Well, put it this way. There are 6 characters in State of Decay 2 that can never die. They're unkillable machines, capable of mass destruction. Now you can't play as any of these characters, well, technically you can, but we'll get into that. And you can enlist 5 of these characters as followers, meaning that with an unkillable character by your side, you can't possibly lose the Pacifist run. It becomes so easy. So who are these 5 unnamed heroes? How do we get them? And who would be the best option to go with? Well, first of all, we can only find these characters on one specific campaign map, Trumbull Valley. These characters we have are Mickey Wilkerson, the last Wilkerson standing, I think. He was in State of Decay 1 and you could play as him in the Breakdown DLC. Ray Santos, who's a member of the network with strong ties to Lily Ritter. He was also a playable character in the Breakdown DLC too. Isby, the weird hacker girl. She was a playable character in the Heartland DLC. Chavez, another playable character in the Heartland DLC who is a Red Talon soldier. And Tracy Huerta, the agricultural scientist, who makes her first appearance here and may be working with Red Talon, although it's not fully known, she just has a lot of Red Talon equipment. The 6th character I spoke about is somebody called Dr. Hoffman, possibly related to Sam Hoffman from State of Decay 1, who is a military scientist that helped us fight the plague walls you found in the Heartland DLC. You can't enlist her as a follower though, which is a shame. Now getting these survivors to follow you isn't exactly the same as the other AI in the game. You can't just go up to them and click enlist follower. You'll need to wait for their special missions to pop up, or in Chavez's case, you'll need to move into the Red Talon base and activate the fix-up missions. But all these missions pop up quite regularly. You can activate Mickey and Tracy's missions by going to these areas on the map, so you'll always have somebody. Isby and Ray's missions show up a little less often, but they'll still show up, so it's not too bad. Now after a quick rundown of all 5 of the enlistable characters, who would we want fighting our battles for us? Now it's important to note that you can't give these characters any special equipment, guns, bombs, etc. They will only have the stuff you find them with. Ray Santos has very decent stats, 5 stars in cardio, his wits is specialised to resourcefulness, which is maxed out, his fighting is 3 stars and he has shooting specialised to gunslinging with 2 stars. The weapons he has are also decent. He uses the Danforth Slugger, which is a lead-filled baseball bat made by the network, and the gun he uses is a scoped revolver. I'm pretty sure it's called the Viper or the Hunter's 44, something like that. The problem with Ray Santos though is he's actually scripted to die during the Trumbull Valley campaign. So if you decide to advance his quest, eventually he will die. I'm not going to say how, I don't want to spoil it, but you also have to wait a decent chunk in the game for him to initially show up, so he's not the most reliable overall. Isby has the worst stats across the board pretty much. She's got 1 star cardio and shooting, no stars in fighting, but because she's a bit of a brain box, she's got 6 stars in wits. Doesn't help her out that much in combat though. She's got no melee weapon, resorting to having to use the knife, and the pistol she has is pretty weak. It's hard to tell what it is exactly, but I think it's something like a PPK or a 1911 of some kind. Still, not the best. She'd be the worst character to use, by far. Mickey Wilkerson has the best stats out of all these characters, having 6 stars in cardio, his wits is specialised to scouting at 4 stars, fighting specialised to close combat at 2 stars, and his shooting is specialised to sharpshooting, fully maxed out at 7 stars. He doesn't have a melee weapon, which is a bit of a letdown, having to rely on his knife, but he does have close combat, so his knife skills are actually pretty good. Now because he doesn't have a backpack, you can't see if he has a gun, so you might assume that he doesn't, but then out of nowhere he just pulls out an Exterminator's 1022 rifle, or something similar, with a suppressor. This guy's definitely came prepared. Tracy Huerta has 3 stars in cardio, her wits is specialised to scouting with 6 stars, 5 stars in fighting and 4 stars in shooting. Pretty good. And her weapons are even better. She's got a melee weapon, the RTX Extermination Blade, and her gun is the RTX Piranha, which is an assault pistol. Now this is a very impressive loadout, especially for an NPC. And last but not least, Chavez, who As a Red Talon soldier, surprisingly doesn't have the same Red Talon stats as he does in Heartland, which took place before the campaign. Maybe he's out of touch, washed up, lost his skill. He's got 4 stars in cardio, 2 stars in wits, 3 stars in fighting and 5 stars in shooting. It's alright, but Mickey and Tressie's stats are kind of showing him up a wee bit. His weapons are the same impressive weapons as Tressie Huerta's though. The RTX Extermination Blade and the RTX Piranha. Very nice. So, the 2 best characters I would say to go with here is Tressie Huerta and Mickey Wilkerson. The reasons why is because their stats and weapons are both really good, especially that tactical suppressor from Mickey, and both of these characters' quests can trigger when you reach certain areas in the map, so they'll always be available, so long as you don't complete the quests, making them very reliable. So, I realise I've not been very clear with what I mean by the characters being immortal. These characters are exactly like normal AI characters. They take damage, get staggered, and can be downed. I think they can even get blood plague. But even when they are downed, they will always get back up. Doesn't matter if they're surrounded by 20 zombies, doesn't matter if they're on fire, and even if a Feral or Juggernaut is present, they cannot do their finisher moves on these characters. They'll kinda just stand there, not really knowing what to do. Even if they do get blood plague, they won't die from it. The death timer will never run out, although their movement and attack animations will be slower, so just bear that in mind. But no, throw all your strategies, schemes and perfect plans out the window for this pacifist run, because all you need to do is grab one of these characters, distract as many zombies as you can, and eventually you will get this challenge done. It still won't be easy. We all know how brain dead the AI can be sometimes, but with a bit of patience and a little luck, this challenge is quite easy, and it's all thanks to invincible characters. So that's all I really wanted to cover today. If you need strong backup, or you're struggling a bit with the game, or maybe even taking on the Pacifist challenge, just know that these characters are here. It's a bit of a scummy mechanic, but it's there, should you need it.